Let's talk about all the different things that need to be done when you're reconditioning a pair of 3As that haven't been touched in a long time. I would say in general, if you pick up a pair of original AR-3as that have not been reconditioned in any sort of way, the very first step that you're going to have to do when performing a reconditioning on these speakers is to take a little hook. And there's all these, I've removed them, but there are glue spots. They go up and down and around the frame. You need to carefully get a hook underneath those glue spots and pull. You don't want to pull the grill because it's not a terribly robust grill. It's pretty thin. Very easy to snap on those glue spots if you don't have all those glue spots removed. I've done a few pairs of 3As, reconditioned a few pairs. Every pair that I've reconditioned has had wax capacitors. Some of them big wax blocks. These wax capacitors, every single one of them I've ever heard in a 3A is audibly malfunctioning. They need to be replaced. The cheapest, most economical, and probably most accurate replacement would be an electrolytic capacitor. So beyond the capacitors, the other thing that really goes is what's called the potentiometers. In other words, the knobs on the back. On the back of the 3A, there's one knob that controls the level of the mid-range, one knob that controls the level of the tweeter. And these, over time, they oxidize. So if you take a pair of AR-3as that have not been reconditioned, you may not hear any sound coming out of the mid-range or tweeter. If you kind of play with those knobs, you might get a little bit of sound. That can tell you if a driver's working or not. But in order for these to properly work, what you're going to need to do, you have a few options when it comes to potentiometers. Take the potentiometers that you have and recondition them if they're in good enough shape. There are guides to how to do that online. It usually involves polishing, cleaning, removing the oxidation on the potentiometers, installing some grease, and reinstalling them. The other option is you can use what's called L-pads. They're sort of a modern control knob. They don't function in exactly the same way as a potentiometer, so what you need to do to mimic the sound is to install a resistor. These early drivers, these cloth surround 12-inch woofers, they have two masonite rings. One on the outside here that holds the cloth surround to the cone, and on the inside there's a masonite ring that holds the basket to the spider. More oxidation. They tend to oxidize, and the masonite rings tend to pop off. They can come off all at once. They can come off little fractions of a circumference at a time. And what that'll cause is a buzz. So you'll hear kind of a flapping sound. Some people think it's an electronic sound, but it's actually a mechanical problem. So a lot of times these need to be recentered and re-glued. That's the one problem with the early surrounds. The problem with the later surrounds is more typical. Those used a foam surround, and in the ensuing 50 years since these came out, that foam surround has deteriorated, so that will need to be replaced. Looking at the other woofers, the mid-ranges usually, if it's still functioning, usually don't need any work. If you look at the tweeter, they have 3 urethane foam suspensions. Little dots, little orange dots that hold the hard dome in place. Over time, that urethane foam suspension degrades. It becomes brittle, and it significantly reduces on-axis and off-axis response. There are a couple of guys in the United States that can rebuild these tweeters, replace the urethane foam suspensions, and significantly raise that output back to factory spec. I would say in general, if you pick up a pair of original AR-3as that have not been reconditioned in any sort of way, it's akin to reconditioning like a classic Corvette or something. It's a significant job, but it's extremely rewarding.